Hey, everybody. Welcome to another edition of the Podriplegics podcast. Proudly brought to you by our sponsors, Arizona Spinal Cord Injury Association. You can find them at azspinal.org or call them at 602-507-4209. This podcast can be found audio version on iHeartRadio. Shout out to our new subscribers in Italy. We appreciate you.
Yeah, you guys rock.
Yeah.
Bellissimo.
iHeartRadio, Apple
Bellissimo.
iTunes, Spotify. If you want to see the video version, you can check it out on YouTube. Just type in Podriplegics, not quadriplegics. Facebook, the Arizona Spinal Cord Injury Friends page. And yeah, you can check us all out there. Leave a comment. We'll get to it. Hit like, hit follow. That would all help us so much to be able to continue doing what we're trying to do. Don, Eric, LaRonda, myself have 100+ years of living with disabilities. We are not medical professionals. I repeat, we are not medical professionals. If you are having medical issues, please contact your doctor or 911 if it's an emergency.
Are we professionally mental, though, is what I want to know.
Probably. Most likely. I mean, at least a couple of us.
Oh, right. But I got 20 minutes.
Mature language and content advisory, parental advisory. Don swears a lot. I'm sorry. I apologize. And don't sue us. If you're going to sue anybody, like always, Eric's got all the money.
Eric. Money back.
Well,
Today, we're talking about activities of daily living. Big deal for us who have spinal cord injuries or people who have mobility issues or anything of the sort. So I think probably we all have a little bit different when it comes to activities of daily living. We're talking about what our schedules are like, bowel programs, catheterizations, what we use to help us in assistance with picking things up or doing, any tools we use of the sort to help us in our activities of daily living. Right? I know. So anyways, let's get right into it. I don't know how we want to start this. I think maybe we should start with what type of schedules do we all run? LaRonda, what time do you get up and what time do you go to bed?
Oh, Jesus. I get up at 5 a.m.
Good for you.
Yeah, I get I get up at 5 a.m. It takes me about an hour and a half to actually get out the house. To get the clothes on, do all the other things, the morning things that I need to do. I go to work, I'm done at a certain time, work out, do some other personal work stuff, some other stuff that I have to do for another job that I have. I normally go to bed about 1 in the morning.
You get any sleep? I just want to know that. Do you sleep?
I don't survive. I don't need a lot. I feel like I don't need a lot of sleep, but I do take a day. I do take I do take a day because, like you said, bowel program, different stuff like that, or whatnot. So I do have my bowel program that I do at least every other day, but I started juicing, and so that's kind of really been helping me out. Helping me out with that. But if I don't use the bathroom or have a bowel program doing a decent bowel program during the week, I take one day out of the week and do a good cleansing, so I won't have, any accidents or just different stuff like that to help prevent, anything like that.
Yeah, so if we're gonna get into the bowel programs, let's get in. Do you use enemas? What do you?
I use sorry.
Go ahead. No.
I use suppositories. Is what I use. Docalac suppositories. Those seem to work really good for me. But I really found this juicing has been a game changer for me. So I do both. I'll take a pill if that's what I have to do, a day when I just don't leave out the house. I'll do a suppository plus I'll take a Dulcolax pill so that it just cleanse everything. But the juicing has been having me to actually go basically really every day. I have function to where I can feel when I have to use the bathroom.
That's nice.
So that helps out a lot. But that's been helping me a lot with the just juicing.
Nice. All right, Don. What about you? What time do you get up? And like as far as bowel programs, what time do you do that?
Okay, yeah, by way of introduction, I am a person with quadriplegia at C5 level, and that means I don't have tricep function, so I'm not able to transfer myself. So my bedtime and also morning time are kind of related to my caregivers as well as my needs. So I can't get up exactly when I want to every morning, or I can't go to bed necessarily at the moment I want to. I'm reliant on a caregiver. So my schedule now recently has been going to bed fairly early, around 8:30, somewhere in there, and then getting up 7 in the morning. So part of that is, like I said, caregiver stuff. Another part of that is also preventing any kind of skin breakdown. So, if I'm up in my chair, after, now I'm 37 years post-injury, and knock on wood, I don't have any problems with skin breakdown, but part of it is getting off my butt, for as many hours as I can during the afternoon, evening. So my bedtime has been around 8 o'clock or 8:30 lately. And then I'll just, watch TV for a while and fall asleep. And I do sleep pretty well these days, but I'm ready to get up usually earlier than my caregiver is there. So then
what do you do, a morning or afternoon or evening bowel program stuff? I mean, how's that work?
Yeah, so gosh, over the years, I've done it a number of different ways. And when I first started out many years ago, I would do every other day with suppository. Started with Dulcolax, then I went to the magic bullets, and then for a while I used some of the enemies. These days, what I find works best for me is just every day, every morning, doing the digital stim and just clearing out whatever is in my lower colon, and I'm fine for the rest of the day. So that works for me. I know everybody is so different. It's like every injury is so different. Everybody's bowel program is so different too. And I know people that do it every day. I know people that do it every other day. Some people every third day. So you have to figure out what works best for you.
Yeah.
And I've found for sure over the years, you really, really learn to read your body so that every little, if you get a chill up your spine, or you sweat a little bit or whatever, you kind of know what your body is telling you. Does that mean I have to use the bathroom? Does that mean I need a cath now? Or you kind of, I don't know about you guys, but in my mind, I have a kind of a little inventory of how much I've eaten and how much I've gone to the bathroom.
Yeah.
I kind of
think that helps a lot. I think you're right about that.
You also kind of know what foods to avoid and what things to, what help you. Like with LaRhonda with the juicing. I mean, that's a perfect example. She's found something that really helps her to empty out, and once you find that's the kind of stuff, you stick with it.
Yeah, and it's such a major part of our days too. I mean, and when Don, I mean, I jumped in because Don's talking about quadriplegia, and I'm a C5, C6 incomplete, C4, C5, C6 incomplete, and so I'm kind of the same way. I've tried many different ways, but for me, what works best is every day. I use the enemies, and I use the enemies plus, so it has lidocaine already in it. And then with that, I have somebody assist me with digital stimulation, and it's most of the time that's the digital stimulation that works for me. It's not necessarily the enemies or the magic bullets or any of that stuff. It's eating a good diet, clean diet, and being able to get digital stimulation daily. For me, with digital stimulation, I have feeling down there. I have spared feeling, like nerve pain feeling, so it's not a pleasant experience.
Shawn,
Especially, go ahead.
I mean, we're talking about that term. Maybe there's people that listening don't understand what that is. That's a finger with a glove on it, jelly finger up the butt and kind of moving in a circle. That's digital stimulation, and that helps us move our bowels.
Yeah, it just activates the nerves and then gives you a response in which the muscles will start pushing.
Right.
So yeah, for me, I do that, and then hemorrhoids are always an issue for me when it comes to that too. Digital stimulation when you have, I don't know about Don or any, but for me, I have multiple caregivers, so it's not just one person. So each person has different types of pressures and all those kind of things. You try to get them all to do the same thing, but easier said than done, right? I mean, it's not the easiest thing in the world to do. So you have all these multiple people doing it, and sometimes some people do it too hard, or sometimes people don't do it enough, and you're not clear, and then you get hemorrhoids, and now you're getting autonomic dysreflexia from it. So I mean, it's a big deal. If you keep yourself on a regular schedule, I think it makes it a little bit easier.
And Shawn, for people that like me that use the Medicaid program, Arizona long-term care, or whatever your state's equivalent is, one of the complicating things is a regular caregiver cannot do digital stimulation because they're not medically cleared to do that. Has to be, at least in Arizona, has to be a nurse. So that also makes it more difficult. So you have to either have a nurse come in a couple times a week to do your bowel program, or you pay somebody to do it. They won't allow just a regular caregiver to do it unless they have the credentials. So
Yeah, and that goes state by state too. That's different in every state. So like in Michigan, for me, a caregiver could do it, but here you have to have a nurse. So yeah, it definitely changes how much money you have to put out just to be able to live, right? I mean, that's a whole nother thing. That's a whole
And
nother
that's
deal.
one of and that's one of the issues that I always have is like, I tell people, like when someone, like if I'm late, or when I was working for many years I worked for the government. And what really made me actually retire with the government is when I moved here, and the lack of, I mean, they just didn't understand what it took for me to get up and come to work every day, or whatnot. And then at the time, my son was under, was underage. So I had to deal with just transferring, to get dressed, to bathe, just the whole 9 yards. They just they didn't understand, and they would make the meetings earlier. And, going into a workplace and trying to explain to people, like, I have to do X, Y, and Z. I can't just get out the bed, put one leg in the pants. It took a lot. It was a lot for me. And even going to the bathroom at work, people don't understand what we have to go through, in the public, just to pee, and things of that nature. So that made me, because I was just tired of explaining, and I felt like I didn't have to. So people just don't understand, and then the cost of everything, of just how much it costs to live and try to live as a normal life as normal as you possibly can. They just don't understand.
Yeah, I mean, I think people don't realize that being disabled is sometimes a 24-hour job. Like it's a full-time job in itself, and then all of a sudden you try to stack these other tasks and jobs and all these things on top of it. I do want to get into how long it takes us all to do this, but we haven't heard from Eric yet. And Eric, you can talk to us a little bit about what your program is.
Okay, so I have a disability that's around T11, T12. partial paralysis, and so I definitely do have feeling, but it's reduced. Um, and I usually wake up around 7:30, and I usually go to bed around 11. So um,
And you can use it, and you know when you have to use the bathroom, and you can just use it.
yeah,
So
I
you have
do.
some technique, right, or something.
Yeah, I do feel the pressure in my bladder, and I'll feel it in my kidneys as well. I have to be real careful about that because if I try to hold it too long, which I sometimes can if I'm sitting in one position, but if I'm
Mhm.
moving around, I tend to have to go more. Or if I exercise, oh, then I have to go. So nothing like exercise helps you to go for just to let you guys know. But it can have an opposite effect too, because then all your liquids from your body gets sucked out, and then you get constipated. So I mean, for me, my there's a couple of things that I do. One, the more liquid I drink, the more easily I can go, and the less constipated I get. So the more water and just liquid I put through my body, the better, because I'm constantly struggling with having enough water in me. So that tends to help a lot. Um, the other thing is when I go to the bathroom, I don't catheter. As a young boy, I learned how to do what's called crede. And crede is where you make a fist, and then you just push on your belly right above your bladder, and it can cause your bladder to spasm, and then it helps you to empty your bladder.
Mhm.
And I've been using that for most, if not all, my life. It works fairly well, as long as I'm willing to do it multiple times in one sitting. Um, I know sometimes if I gotta poop, then what happens is I won't be able to pee until after I poop, and so I have to make sure to empty my bladder after that, because there's many times I'll just get off and I'll get done, and then I'll have to go right back because now I got to pee.
Mhm.
Or and for me, typically it's like an every other day thing for going poop. And so for me, it's not just one poop, it's like two or three poops in a row. So I have to be prepared for that, because each one comes out a little faster, a little quicker, a little looser. And so it's just one of those things that I need to be ready for. And I could be at
Mhm.
work. I don't necessarily have a program, but I definitely know when I need to go. I'm at the first signs, and I'm like, I got to get out of here. So I
What are
really
some
listen to
of those
my.
signs, by the way, if you don't mind?
I'll have stinky gas. My guts will gurgle. I'll feel like a lot of pressure in my stomach. Um, I'll start sometimes my sciatica or my sciatic will act up, or I'll get w- sometimes I just get more feeling in my legs, believe it or not, and I'm like, oh,
Mhm.
all my blood's going down there. So why is that? And then I'm like, oh, maybe I got to go to the bathroom. Okay, I should go.
Mhm.
You know? So they're very subtle signs. If you're not, it took me a long time to learn this, to be honest.
Mhm.
It wasn't something that I was just like, oh, I know what this is. It wasn't. I had to really, really learn this. And I can tell you honestly, one of the biggest fears in traveling is having to go to the bathroom. Just it's
Mhm.
my biggest fear. It's
Sure.
like the last thing I want to
Mhm.
do is lose my bowels when I can't have a bathroom around me.
Mhm.
On an airplane or
Mhm.
something.
Oh, that's the
Mhm.
worst.
Could you imagine?
Yeah,
Right. But yeah.
airplane.
So yeah. But Eric, like with me, my injury is really low. And excuse me, I don't. They told me what my level was. I know I'm an incomplete para. And but the thing is that I mean, even with your, I know that works for you. I used to do the same thing, but it was a pain in the behind having to pee because you could never empty it because I don't have the muscle
And
to
that's yeah,
just mhm, to empty
that's
it completely.
and that's an issue I have. One of the
Mhm,
Let me just grab this real quick.
mhm.
Go ahead, Loranda. You were saying.
Well, just to empty it completely. So I calf. So I calf, and that takes away from that because I know that my bladder is completely empty, or whatnot. So if I forget some catheters, that used to happen to me before. I was just irresponsible, and you get embarrassed And that happened to me before. So I can go and I can push, but I can't get everything completely out. So I'm like, oh, I just use the bathroom. Then I have to run back. And then, like you said, it's embarrassing if you have to poop in public. So that's the reason why I do what I do, because I try to take control of it while I'm at home to do what I have to do, because I hate pooping in public. I'm gonna be honest. I hate dealing with it. I don't know if I'm gonna make it, because it's like you got to get your pants down. I can't stand.
Yeah.
So and when I gotta go, I got to go.
I've done gymnastics to get on that toilet. I've done leaps through the air with my hands pushing me off that wheelchair to get me on that toilet as quickly as possible while pulling my pants down at the same time. It was, when I look back at my life, I'm going to look at how to do that and remember that.
I don't know about Shawn, but I almost never use public toilets. If I am out somewhere and I need to go, if I need to have a bowel movement, I have to come home to do it, because that's where my equipment is. So I've had to leave parties, I've had to leave restaurants in a hurry, and I explain it to my friends. Of course, they understand, but there have been situations where it's been really awkward, or it's ruined my evening, that sort of thing. So I
have to use equipment too. What were you gonna say, Eric?
I just wanted to do a little product placement real quick here. D-Manos. So the way this works, and actually I got a couple relatives that use it successfully as well, who don't have a disability but chronic bladder infections. So from what I was told by the doctors, typically there are 3 major strains of infections that you get within your bladder. One of them is E. coli. E. coli happens to match up with the D-mannose sugar. D-mannose is a sugar. The body does not absorb it. And this is what I was told. I'm not a professional. This is what I learned this from people in the community, and it has been very useful for me. So it's like Velcro. It just bonds perfectly with E. coli, and then it just Velcros it right out of your system.
Right out.
Yep. And I have an E. coli colony in me. So what a lot of people don't understand is you can get rid of your infection. The colony is still there. It's just kind of dormant, or this is what I've come to learn, that you don't really ever get rid of it. And I happen to have the kind that the D-Manos works for. So I'm able to, if I'm feeling kind of sluggish when I pee or something like that, or if my pee is really cloudy, I take a couple of D-Manos for 3 to 5 days, and I can pee like a champ. It's nice. And I feel myself emptying my bladder even more when I take this. Also, moving around helps me to pee. If I'm just sitting still, like if I get out of my chair and I move around a little bit, or if I'm exercising, that helps me to get everything moving. I'm not just moving my arms, it's my guts that say, oh, we're exercising. Okay. And then I have to pee more. So, and that's when it gets interesting for me, because if I don't think I do empty all the way. And so, that little bit's always there. And so I can go to the bathroom, I go back, get active with something, and then have to go again. So anyways.
I take D-Manos anyway. I take it every day, Eric.
I take it every day too.
I believe that's the sugar that's in cranberries, that the
right
sugar, that's the active ingredient. That's why so many people recommend cranberry juice. It has D-Manos in it.
Does it?
I take D-Manos and eat craisins every day.
I heard the acid in cranberry juice or cranberries that creates an acid solution in your bladder isn't good if you have ulcers in your bladder, which infections can cause.
But and it also depends on the pH of what your urine is. So I think everybody should go to the urologist and get one of those 24-hour urine collection tests, in which you collect your urine for 24 hours, send it in, and they send it back to you, and they tell you your different pH levels, what you're missing, what is high, what's low. I mean, the creatinine levels, all these different things in there that they can tell you. And mine was I need to drink more citrus than I do cranberry. So
I should send you a big bulk of oranges then, huh?
I got some in the backyard. But yeah, so like it depends on the person when it comes to that. So cranberry is one of those things where they say it's kind of like, hey, it can be helpful for almost anyone, but you should get it. You should get your urologist to test your urine so you can find out whether you need more potassium, whether you need more, potassium citrates, or whether you need different citrates, or whether it's the cranberry. Cranberry supplements can work too. So
You know what I've learned over the years too is that you don't always have to treat every UTI with antibiotics. There's only so many antibiotics that we have, and if you kind of overtreat, you can actually make things worse by developing sort of a resistant strain in your body. So again, not a doctor, but consult with your urologist, I think, before you self-medicate with antibiotics, because unless you're symptomatic, you don't always have to use medication to get rid of a bug. Like Eric uses the D-mannose, or it could be citrus or cranberry for you, Shawn. Just consult with your urologist. If you hopefully you trust your urologist or have a good one.
I was just going to say something to that fact. So one thing, we may not be medical professionals. Okay, we are not medical professionals. That's true. But I can honestly tell you, I've gone to doctors and I mentioned some of this stuff and they're like, what? Like they have no clue. So that's the other thing, people. Sometimes you need to educate your doctor and let them know, that this is a possibility, because they don't know everything, but they can diagnose.
The same thing happened to me, Don, with the antibiotics, because my injury happened when I was 11, and when I was in a hospital, I did a sterile catheterization. When I got out and as I got older, I switched to doing just a clean cath. So that's what I did. But I had so many UTIs, and they just gave me so many antibiotics to where they just didn't work. They couldn't find anything to work. So that's why I started, you have to know I feel like you have to know your body. Nobody knows your body like you. And being disabled, I think that we, like you said, we're so in tune with so much things that happens in our body. So I started looking for more natural things. I right now, I don't take, if I get sick or anything, I try to find something more natural, like teas and like the minnows. That has helped me so much with my UTIs. I can't tell you the last time I had a UTI since I started taking that. So we know our body. I feel like we know our body so much better than anybody. I don't care if a doctor or whatnot. You know your body, and you know what works for your body. So I just make sure I'm really big on, and like you said, we're not doctors. I just know what works for me. Antibiotics is just they don't work for me, because they shoved them down my mouth for so long when I was younger.
Yeah, I would also recommend that to not necessarily treat UTIs unless you have symptoms of that you can't stand, right? I mean, if you're getting autonomic dysreflexia, you have a fever, all those kind of things, chills, and you can't go about what your regular day is because of pain or all these different things you might have because of it that your body reacts to. And that's something that you're going to have to learn over the years. It's not something that you just automatically know. For me, autonomic dysreflexia was a major thing for me to understand. One, when I have to take a deuce, and when I have to pee. Like those are the major functions of what autonomic dysreflexia is to me. And so like when I start feeling chills or sweating or feeling different, I'm like, oh wait, I probably have to pee. Like let me check and make sure my suprapubics is draining right. Okay, it's not that. Let me sit on the toilet. So those things will come over time, and you have to learn it. You have to start paying attention. When I was younger, I was like you, Laron. I didn't pay attention to that stuff. I didn't care. I was straight cathing. I would have a UTI every other week, it seemed like. And just because I wasn't doing it correctly, or I wasn't emptying my bladder all the way, or I wasn't paying attention to what my body was telling me to do.
Shawn, how long have you had the suprapubic, and what's your experience with that? Because I have one myself.
I switched over
superpubic?
to it. That's the one that goes right in through your like lower abdomen, straight
Mhm.
into your. It's kind of like into your bladder. It's kind of like a Foley, but it doesn't have to go through your
Mhm.
penis or
Okay.
your whatever urethras. Yeah, that's the word I was
Mhm.
looking for. But I switched over to it like I would say probably 12 years ago, or
Mm.
maybe even longer, 14. First 5 or 6 years I was straight cathing, and
Mhm.
I couldn't do it myself, so I had to have somebody help me with it. And it seemed like I was just constantly getting UTIs. So I switched over to the super pubic, and then I think it's a blessing and a curse in its way. It's a blessing in the fact that you can drink a lot more water in my situation, or a lot more fluids, and not have to worry so much about having to cath every 20 or 30 minutes or hour, and that's a
Mhm.
UTI. You're just waiting to get a UTI when doing that.
Mhm.
But I also have spared feelings. So having that tube and that balloon sitting in my bladder the whole time is
Mhm.
it's annoying for me, so I have to use the right catheters. So I use latex. I tried silicone catheters, and they were too stiff, and they just felt like they were poking my bladder all the time, and I
Mhm.
was getting blood and stuff of the sort. It
Oh,
was
that's
very
not good.
uncomfortable. Um,
Yeah.
so I use silicone or latex over silicone. Some people like silicone better than latex. So I mean,
Mhm.
it's kind
What
of a
about
toss up on that one.
what about Botox? So I know
Do that as
I've
well.
I've heard like like people who have neurogenic bladders, they'll uh, they'll take medication or they'll do Botox. And I know we had a previous guest on that did Botox that helped
Mhm.
him with because you know bowel and bladder programs are the bread and butter of our daily business. I mean, I know that's a weird combination of words to put together, but it's true. It's
Mhm.
it
Mhm.
occupies so much of my mind when especially if
Mhm.
I'm out in public, you know,
Mhm.
that is I always track that stuff. Where's the bathroom? Is it going to be difficult? What am I going to have to do? I mean, it's just I happen to be blessed and work at a place where the bathrooms are really accessible,
Mhm.
So
Yeah, and I think when you on your thought right there, I don't do anything unless I have bladder and bowel figured out. I
yeah,
mean,
yeah.
I'm not leaving the house if I don't have that figured out. I
Mhm.
do my stuff in the mornings. So
Mhm.
like for me, I I try to get it done with, because some people do it at night, and that's your thing. Like whatever, if you feel better at doing it at night, or you have more time to do it at night and all that stuff, I can't do that because I feel like I have to go all day, and then I go to the bathroom at night, and then I'm like, oh wow, now I feel like I want to go do something. But I didn't feel like I wanted to go do anything the whole day, because I was like, oh, I was worried about having to go to the bathroom. So I just do mine in the mornings now. And so it makes it a little easier for me. But traveling wise I mean, that's a whole other episode right there.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, it is.
I mean, really, because you can
Whole
bring in
edition.
your equipment and everything. It's a pain. It's a real pain.
Right.
So, so what do you guys do for like other stuff for activities, daily living, like driving, dishes, laundry, all those things.
Go ahead.
Sean, you want to, Laronda, go ahead.
Um, I drive. I don't drive all that much in it unless I need to. If I want to go do something, like go on a date or something of a sort where, you know, being by yourself is what you want to do, then sure, I like driving is fine. But I don't really like to drive that much. So I
Mhm.
always usually have an aide or a nurse with me. So like if I don't like to
Like
drive
a
and
chauffeur.
somebody's with you, they're gonna drive, So
Chauffeur.
I didn't
Gee.
say that to anybody who's listening that works for me. I did not say that.
Oh,
Okay.
Charles.
Charles, I want to go for a drive.
um, but yeah, so my car does both. My car has both seats that come in and out, so I can either drive or I can be the passenger. So
That's
I usually prefer passenger, so I don't have to worry about it. But
wow.
and then as far as other stuff, like I do transfers from my chair to my bed, but I don't do transfers from my chair to my shower chair because I can't. It's too difficult for me. I don't have anything to use to push off on and stuff. And then what else? What was the other question? Laundry. I don't do laundry either.
Like laundry, dishes. So is that your maid that does that, or who's doing this?
Ooh, he get you in some trouble.
Again, I didn't say that. Oh, I have people that assist me in my activities of daily living, Eric.
What about,
Get it right, Eric.
Shawn, do you have movement in your fingers? Are you able to type? Are you able to dress
I got
yourself?
this.
All right. Oh, well, you can move your thumb a little bit.
That's it. But so I type with these, with my pinky knuckles.
Oh,
Okay.
I thought you were saying with your fist, like.
No, my pinky knuckles.
He said it's
I should do that. I should buy you a keyboard like oversized like this, so you could just like
Like
punch
just
it, just
smash
boom, boom, boom. Yeah, that would be awesome.
Get a set of drumsticks taped to my hand and just
Yeah, just smash the keys. That'd be
Take
so
out your-
funny.
Take out your anger on your keyboard.
no, I used to try to use assistive devices for things, and I felt like and look, this is just my experience. I felt like most of them I could do without them, so there's no sense of like wasting time or energy to try to put something on when you can do it without it. I
Like
could
Dragon
hold
speaker.
fork
What?
or like like I used to have that thing you wrap around your hand and you put the fork in, you bend it or whatever, you bend the fork.
Universal cuff, I think they're called.
Yeah, there you go. But my buddy was like, dude, I'm tired of bringing this everywhere and forgetting it. We want to eat something and you can't do it. So he goes, so you're gonna figure this shit out and you're gonna figure it out quick. And so then I just started figuring out how to use a fork, and now I use a fork and a spoon and everything, all about with my little
Right.
wiggly thumb.
Uh,
What about you, Don?
well, in some ways, I'm opposite of you because I love driving. I have a vehicle I drive with hand controls, and I take it for just a drive every opportunity I can. I like that freedom and that ability to control my environment. So I'm really big on, if you can find a way, afford a vehicle, I think it's one of the most freeing things you can do as a person with a disability. It really opens
very
up
liberating.
opportunities. Liberating, yeah. As far as other ADL stuff, I have the same kind of curled hands as you do. I don't even have that thumb movement. So I rely on what's called tenodesis. And that's when you flex your wrist up, your fingers naturally come together. So it allows you to do a little bit of a grip. But I've also, over the years, I've learned anything that I can put a little loop on or a ring in some way so I can get my finger in it, makes life easier for me. So I've discovered these things called clip hangers, and I'll hold it up. It's that green thing it's kind of glued onto. This is my TV remote, so that if I want to pick up my TV remote, I just loop my finger right through it, and now I can pick it up. If I drop it on the floor, I can just pick it up.
Is that an LG TV, by the way?
It sure is. Yeah.
I got the same remote.
Yeah. So, yeah. Little things like that. I on my wallet, I'll show you another thing that I've done. I just put a little zip tie on the wallet, and now I can loop my finger through it. It's a 5-cent zip tie, but it makes my wallet more accessible to me. So little things like that. I too.
Okay, patent that.
Yeah, right. When I left rehab years ago, I had a box full of adaptive equipment, like Shawn was saying, things I could put my fork in, ways to help me do the toothpaste, all those things that over the years I've just learned to do without, because there's kind of a pain really to carry all that stuff around.
Yeah.
But you still have your hanger.
I use my hanger. That's probably the one thing I use most during the day. Is just a wire hanger, kind of stretched out. And I use it to pick up things that I drop on the floor.
That you have hooks on.
I can tell you that I've talked to many people who, if they would have had a hanger, because those keys, if you're in a chair, you can't bend over to get those keys. That hanger is a lifesaver.
Right there. I've got them all over the house.
Yeah, hangers and loops. That's
The
what
other-
it's all about.
The other thing before I
Mhm.
forget is, like the Alexa or the Google Home things, I
Mhm.
use those quite a bit. I have my home set up so that my lights and my TV and my heater are all connected to, I have the Google system, so I just tell it to turn on the lights or turn off the lights. And that
Do
gives
you
me
ever?
a feeling of control when I'm in bed and I can't move or get up. At least I can control my environment.
Right, exactly.
So those are pretty nice. I never thought I would do that, but within the last few years, I've really just been adding things to my home to make it
Mhm.
more accessible to me just by voice command.
These two hand users don't know anything about this life.
I know.
Whatever.
I
I
want,
mean,
I want somebody to come do my dang on laundry. Come do my damn laundry for me. Shit.
yeah, I do my own.
Right.
I wash
Look at me.
dishes and do laundry and okay, so I can tell you one thing though that I have to do. Or you know what, Loranda, go ahead. I'll speak out. Go ahead, please.
Well, my whole thing is that I'm like you, Don. I'm gonna make it. Nothing works for me. Like the grab bars, the what you call it, the reacher thing.
Oh yeah.
No, none of that works for me. None of it. So I do the same thing you do. I will make something work for me. So to get like my silly self, I bought a washer and dryer. Normally I buy the front loaders, so I can just pull the clothes out.
Yep, that's the way to go.
I wanted stainless steel, and I wanted this new fancy washer. So it has a deep tub. I bought this washer and then went home to wash. It's like, God,
Couldn't get it.
mean, I could have threw that washer. I get, or you can get like when you barbecue the top,
Yeah, the tongs.
the really long ones. So I pulled my clothes. I have it hooked right there next to the washer, and I get my clothes out of the washer. The dryer is a front loader, so I do that. A lot of people are really amazed. I don't use a shower chair when I shower. That's something that's different. When I went to therapy, they said I had like a shower. I don't use a shower chair. I actually transfer out of the tub. I lift myself up to the side of the tub, and I transfer out of the tub. Washing dishes, I make sure everything is at a certain level. Nobody, if you come to my house, it's crazy because nothing is high. If you could, I have a double disability. Y'all talk about your hands. You should see how long my arms are.
I think I'm part orangutan personally, so I'm just saying.
See, I say that all the time. I don't know how Eric's arms are so long. My arms are not long at all. So everything has to be, I make sure everything, my kids have been trained from birth not to put things high because I don't like to ask anybody to grab things up high for me because I pay the bills. So everything, everything is at Loranda's level. Nothing is on my top cabinets, nothing.
So you pulled the I pay the bills, do what I say.
Since birth.
You gotta do that.
Yep. Since birth,
Well-
you want to eat, you better keep it low.
So my situation's a little different. I've had my disability all my life. So I loved climbing. I loved climbing trees. I remember this day I was in home ec class and they wanted me to get something off the top shelf. I literally climbed up on top of the countertop, sat there, and was putting dishes away on the top shelf. And the teacher comes over and she goes, "Does your parents let you do this on a regular basis?" I said, "Yeah, it's completely safe." I mean, that was my first lie. But I live in a 2-story home and the bedrooms are upstairs. So I'm climbing the stairs 2, 3, 4 times a day with just my arms. I get into the tub, arms ahead first, and just drag my legs along with it. I mean, That's how I do. That's how I get around. And for me, it keeps my butt off my chair for a while too by dragging around. But like I have some pretty strong arms because of it. My wrists are actually amazingly strong because of because of walking on my hands. So I can hyperextend my hands. And I got tested by an OT one time, and they're testing my wrist strength, and they're like, "This can't be right." So they tested again. They're like, "No, this can't be right." And so they tested a third time. They're like, "How are your wrists so strong?" And I said, "Well, I walk on my wrists. I walk on my hands like legs." And they're like, oh, okay."
We need a video of this, by the way. Where's this video? I want to see a video. You
Do,
walk
want
on
to see
do
I
we?
want
I
to see
mean, do
them
we
go up
really?
them stairs.
Right?
I do. Oh, when I was young, I used to. Now, I do not advise anyone do this, by the way. When I was young, I used to do what's called the Superman. So what you do is you run on your hands down head first down the stairs, then you put one arm out, and then as you're falling, you put the second arm out, and then you just fly down the stairs and hope you land right. It's kind of suicidal, and I lived in the country, so my entertainment was that. But so
Yeah, I
yeah,
also advise anybody who's listening not to do that.
yeah, don't do
Well,
that.
you know,
Don't do that.
yeah. You get the legs like when I was when I was younger, they were hold like when I always wanted to go with my friends and things of that nature, and we didn't care. And you would see us; they would hold my legs, and I would do the same thing. I would go up the stairs because I ain't scratching up my legs, Eric. No, that's
Yeah.
not
Oh, I've
happening.
had people do
And
that. Like we'll go up a couple
mhm,
flights of stairs and they'll carry my
mhm,
legs. Yeah. On my
mhm,
hands. Yeah.
right, yeah.
Beautiful.
So that works.
People scrambled to make me their wheelbarrow partner because they knew I could
People
I,
do,
I
I
could
bet.
book. I could
I
book in
bet
my
you're
arms.
winning every time.
They made me do 10 push-ups at the halfway point just to give everyone else a chance. Like that was fair. It's not like I could win the running races or the long jump or any of that crap, but no, they had to make me whatever. Okay.
Yeah.
Right,
Simply
right.
put, I'm going to tell you, people are amazing. Our bodies are amazing.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And the longer you spend paying attention to it in the situation that you're in and really focusing on what you can do instead of what you can't do, you'll be able to find ways around a lot of these things that you consider barriers early on in your injury or early on in your life that possibly could at the end be something that you can say was an accomplishment as opposed to a barrier. I mean, you'll be able to make it past it, and then your quality of life or your activities of daily living may become easier. I hope at some point that we told you something maybe that you could try that would make your life, your ADLs a little easier. Um, Before, I know we're running short on time for you here, Eric, right?
No, that's okay. I got a hilarious thought in my head. I just got to share. I'm sorry. You
Go
said we
ahead.
could do. You said we could do anything. I'm just like, what kind of catapult would it take to do the long jump? I'm just wondering.
I
And
mean,
how are we
you
gonna
figure it
how are we
out,
gonna
right?
train that in? So you land in the sand and not on the cement.
Well, I mean that would take a little trial and error, but I think you could get it.
Yeah.
I mean, you make a catapult, put yourself in it,
Mhm.
flick it off.
Little human cannon.
Yeah, I'm with it. I mean, but you're the things that we just talked about. I mean, when you look at LaRonda, so she transfers in and out of the tub. I mean, think about the first day you were that you had your disability. Like, did you ever think of transferring in and out of the tub?
No, I got stuck in the tub. That's how I learned how to do it. I
Right?
my mom, when my mom used to help, actually she was just really over one of those overprotective moms when I got my first injury or whatnot. And she used to help me in and out of the tub, or my sisters. I have 5 sisters. So they used to help me. And one day I was calling, I'm ready out of the tub, ready out of the tub. Nobody was there. I don't know what happened, but nobody was there. I don't remember what happened, and I figured it out. I figure it out. Like even when I drive, like I break my chair down, I put it in in the side of the car or whatnot. Everybody, so you just figure it. I just figure it out. I want to do something. I just figure it out.
Yep.
Yeah, and then
You know,
sometimes you're gonna fall and crash. You're gonna
Mhm,
maybe hurt yourself a little
mhm,
bit here or there,
mhm.
but
Right.
I'm gonna tell you all the things that I learned how to do that I didn't know how to do in the beginning only came from me messing up multiple times.
Does this have anything to do with how to catapult yourself out of the chair? I'm just
You didn't
wondering.
break
Are
a-
you going in
I
that?
broke
Are
an
you going in
ankle.
that
Done
direction?
that. Many
See,
times.
nuh-uh. I broke a leg. I broke one of my legs trying to do some. I had a friend that could hop stairs in his chair, and I was like, I'm gonna learn how to do this. You know, I got to do this, and I did. I was trying, kept trying, hopped and fell on my leg the wrong way, and
Oh,
broke my leg. So that's why that was not fun. That was not fun having a broke leg in a wheelchair. That's that's not fun.
I've hit my head trying to go downstairs in my chair. It's not good.
Mhm.
Only 3 steps at that. It was real embarrassing. But
Yeah, cracked my frame. Cracked the frame of my chair. So I didn't have a wheelchair. We had
oh
to.
no.
Oh, we almost said something. How I got another wheelchair, but I'm on.
You had to go
I'm
jail.
sorry. Were you gonna say something? So do we need to have another disclaimer?
Around and was like, I had to hold somebody up for that.
Just know I got another chair.
Just know our rehab hospital was looking for it for about 6 months, but oh well.
Oh, let me be
Yeah.
quiet.
Anyway, I know before we go, I wanted to ask everybody, as far as when you talk about getting ready for the day, how long in a time frame does it take you, Rhonda?
About an hour and a half. It depends on what I'm wearing.
Don?
Boots takes so longer.
Usually about 30 minutes
What?
to get up and dress.
Timmy, did you,
30,
He's just like comb through the hair. Let's go.
30 minutes to an hour, maybe. Usually about 30 minutes though.
Eric?
Get it down.
Yeah, I mean an hour. I put a brush through my teeth and a brush through my hair, and I hop in the shower and wash the dirty bits and get dressed and get out.
Yeah. See, I mean, I do all my bowel program and everything in the morning. So as far as bowel program and shower, I mean, I'm looking at 2 hours for sure.
I can tell you though, if I know that I'm going on a trip or if I'm going anywhere, the night before I'm hyper hydrating myself to make sure I get all the stuff out of me, man. Because the last thing I want to do is if I'm going on a trip anywhere, last thing I want to do is have to stop and use the restroom for.
Have to stop, collaborate, and listen.
I'm gonna tell you, when I fly. Well, I mean, I'm pretty sure a lot of people fly, but when I fly, that's the hardest for me. Because I be having, we're the first ones to get on and the last to get off, and I'm sitting in a plane. I'm like, I gotta pee.
Yep, that last to get off sucks. Oh my god, it sucks.
Yeah, and so, but I flew with some guys, and they was like, "LaRonda, you gotta pee." I was like, "Yes." They had peed while they was on the plane, sitting in the seat. Yes, they did. Whipped it out, calf right there, and they was done.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what? I know some people that did that actually. That do that on
I've
planes.
done it before too.
You have done it before.
Okay, but have you had a conversation with the person next to you while it's
Well, the
going
person
on?
next to me was cathing me, so yes. Yes. We were having a lovely conversation.
Right. They
Yeah,
had
you just-
travel bags.
You just get that little,
Company.
Yeah.
just get that little blanket across your lap, and there you go.
Yeah,
There it
just
is.
hold it up. That's what you do. I mean, it's I've emptied my super pubic bag or whatever. It's been full because the pressures change when you get into those planes and you get up high.
Mhm.
So
Oh,
those
yeah.
balloons in the super pubic, or a Foley, if anybody has a Foley that's listening, those things can expand and deflate depending on, as you go up and down. I know they try to pressurize the cabin as much as possible, but I also have a baclofen pump in my stomach. So that also changes when you get up into the pressure. The pressure changes, so it slows down. So then when you go down, when you land, it speeds back up. So be wary of that as well. If you have one of those when you're on a plane, make sure you bring extra baclofen just in case. Sitting there is uncomfortable enough, let alone if your baclofen's running low. So, I've had those issues many times on planes where you're just like, what's going on? I'm spasming everywhere.
Oh
Wow,
my God.
I never thought of that, Shawn. That's a good point.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
You see me doing this.
Moving back and
And I'm
forth.
like, push me. Somebody push me, please. Somebody push me.
Oh yeah. Oh, I've had to do some amazing cross my legs and sit on my legs while I'm sitting in my chair. Oh my God. Yeah. When it's emergency time, oh, it's all bad.
It sure is. So anybody else have anything they want to talk about as far as ADLs or what we were talking about earlier as far as, I mean, we can do a whole nother show on just UTIs, I mean, we could go through that. That would take, I would talk about all my UTI issues. It'd take a whole hour in itself. So,
This is almost poop counter worthy.
Well, this episode's literally about taking poops. So I hope your poop counter is up to poop because I want to see more poops and all kinds of poops everywhere.
You are evil. Oh my God. Okay, I see where this is going.
Hope that baby's up to snuff. Anyways, so yeah, I mean, as far as questions goes, if anybody has questions, oh, you got something down?
I was just going to say, speaking of ADLs, I don't know if you saw earlier, I apologize, but my pizza was delivered about 20 minutes too early. I
wondered what it was.
That was the pizza guy at the door. So mine is sitting there waiting for me.
Oh, you better, we'll let you get to it.
So that's your cook. That's your cooking. Okay.
That's my cook for this evening for sure.
Yeah. So as far as listeners go, if you have any questions for us on if you want deeper, in-depth explanations on how we do some of this stuff, or if you have any questions or issues, if you want to know how LaRonda transfers out of a bathtub, send us a message. We'll try to give you detailed explanations of what happens. If you want to know how Eric Superman's down the stairs, hopefully we can get a video of that. I want to see that.
I don't know if my shoulders could handle that.
And if you want to know how Don gets out of the house in 30 minutes, that's what I want to know.
Right.
And send us a message. We'll try to figure something out.
We should do the video and fast forward when he does it too. Just be like,
10 minutes. Wow.
Yeah. So other than that, final thoughts? Nothing? Yeah. No?
Yeah, those thousands of comments that we get too, if we don't respond right away, it's just because I'm going through all of the comments.
It's because Eric's he's got stuff to do. He's
a
very important.
Eric is doing it. Mm-hmm. Yes, he is.
He's got all the monies too. So if you want to sue us, make sure you sue.
No, you need to stop because actually I don't.
If somebody ends up Supermaning down the stairs and hurting themselves and wants to
oh my God, don't do that at home. I'm telling you, don't do that at home. Listen to me.
Don't jump down curbs either.
Yeah.
Break your chair.
Don't do that. Either way,
yeah.
Even if you got hands or not, don't do this. Don't go on curbs, please.
I'm not recommending that you do anything. Okay, nothing. Just sit and do nothing.
Wrap yourself in bubble wrap and sit down.
Yep.
I just want to say hi to our friends in Italy. So that's
yeah. You guys rock.
And all around the world, wherever we're being seen.
England, we got some England people too, right? We got some England people, and then you said some Australia or something. Where else do we have?
Wow.
I thought we had Canada.
Canada, that's right. I don't know how I got
Australia, Canada, close enough.
Same
thing.
To our brothers and neighbors up north in Canada, we say thank you. And our new Italian.
Oh wait, no, it's thanks, A.
Yeah. But other than that, we'll be back in a couple weeks, and we'll talk about. I don't know what we're gonna talk about. Hopefully, we'll have a guest in a couple weeks. Hopefully, it'll be one of our dream guests. Let's get on that. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Any of our dream guests listening, feel free to just reach out to us. But we're gonna reach out to you.
Yeah, so Kenny Rogers is going to sing us out. Kenny?
Come on, Kenny.
Hey, Loggins.
Kenny
Oh, or
Loggins.
Kenny Loggins, either one.
You got to know when to hold 'em.
There
Know
it
when
is.
to fold 'em.
Ladies and gentlemen,
When to
the
walk away.
Podriplegics.
Know when to run.
You better count your
Your
money.
money. So you're
In
sitting
that
at the
bank.
table. Time enough for counting when the dealing's done.
Peace.
Wake up, Kenny. Woo.
Look.